Well, hi all, hope everyone's well. Thought I'd do a video today about nest pans. These nest pans are the ones I used years ago, served me well for a lot of years. I had various sizes and colour. Problem with this particular nest pan in my case was it wasn't too bad. The cages I used to have were wooden, and they used to have I could put a screw fixed to the back wall, and the cages weren't as deep as this. But when I was using them, you still had to go in, unhook it from the screw to check the eggs, or you had to reach in. You couldn't quite see in properly, and then you had to, if you got young in the nest and you wanted to get them out to do a ring them or whatever, you had to slowly negotiate the door, open it. Something eggs didn't fall out or chicks didn't fall out. Bring them out onto to the workbench, do whatever, and then obviously put them back in. So not really good for that reason. Worked fine as an S-pan, brought up a lot of successful young birds in there. Some of them have got more air vents in there than this one. But so after, I mean, I probably used them for 6 or 7 seasons, I bet. Never thought about changing them. And then as time went by, these sort of ones came in onto the market, which were made for clipping to the front of the cage. Now the cage fronts I used to have on my old cages didn't have a door like these. These have got a nice door, but the other ones didn't. So they were still hooked inside like that on the bars, and they rested nicely like that. But yet again, every time I wanted to check anything, I could see better this time. No problem in seeing, but you still, to check anything or take them out, you still had to negotiate the door. You know, you've always got problems that you could actually lose a chick, spook them, or actually break an egg, drop an egg, and then you still had to take them out to do anything like that. So worked well. I've used them for the last 3 or 4, 5 seasons. These are, I say, they're easy to clean, easy to take out, but I had trouble with some of the babies when they're really small, getting hooked out of the nest and finding them on the floor. So a lot of people commented about, why don't you try other types of nest pans, external ones or whatever. But actually they work better with these. I mean, I used these last year in here. These are a lot better now because I can actually hook them. I can open the door. They hook on. I had them like that last year. I think I had them a bit lower down. I didn't actually have them on the door. I had them. Let's get it out. As I say, I mean, well, these always a bit fiddly. I had them down there like that. That's better. And then I had the perch. The perch used to be, I think I had a perch there alongside, so the birds could hop on and hop off. Yeah, I had something like that last year. But say I've still got these. Still might use them on some of the birds. It all depends what they take to, and I'll be showing you. I'll show you in a second the actual what I decided to go and try and use this season. So yeah, there's the good nest pans. There is different types like this. There's ones that don't stick out so far. Ones like the first one I showed you. There's ones like this where with a hook, so they're actually closer to the front. But yeah, there's lots and lots of different types. on different sizes for different size canaries, small, large, or different size British birds or whatever you're keeping. But yeah, that's it for now on them. I'll show you what I've decided on in a sec. Well, this season for the first time I'm going to be using external nest pans. These are becoming more common now in the UK. A lot of breeders use them. They've been used on the continent for a long while now. This is the ones I've found quite like these. I think they're Italian. Had them off eBay, pretty cheap price actually. What I like about them is you could, because they're on the outside, it's easy to inspect the young or the eggs without having to open the door, put your hand in, and cause all sorts of problems. So you can lift the hatch door there to have a look. You can also, if needs be, lift out the nest pan to check the young, or change or clean it or do anything like that. It's got a card in there which you can put information. We make your own cards up, slide it in, turn it over or whatever. So I like that. I also like that it's got a drawer on top where you can keep, you put seed in there. I know a lot of people keep their eggs in there, so you can, as the eggs have been laid, you can move them into the tray, replace it with a dummy egg, and there, you know, those eggs are definitely for that nest. So it's all contained in the one unit. You've got a perch there which you can have on or take off depending of what your requirements are. It also comes with attachments for different cages that just slot in under there. So depending on what type of cage system you've got something to suit all cages. The actual the slider, it won't work on this top row. I've just noticed actually, but it will do on the other rows. If you're going in to have a look, you're not interfering inside the actual cage itself, but you can take the slider off and move it to the front. So while you're checking the young or whatever, it's keeping it, the actual cockbirds and hens can't get in there. So you can just shut them off from the nest while you're doing some work. And then they just slide back in again. As I say, I'm going to struggle on the top row, it's my error, but I'll probably have to lift it off in that particular case. Really think they are really decent nest pans. They just clip on the side there like that. I have been hanging them on the outside with the doors closed at the minute, occasionally. Just been hanging them on like this. So the birds get used to seeing them hanging around and they're not obviously scared. But often when you've got them in the breeding cages, you put the nest pan in for the first time and they don't like the look of it, go a bit wappy, won't go anywhere near it. So if I can get them used to seeing it hanging, even though it's not going to be used yet, and then that should, when I eventually do open the door, they'll actually be used to it. Obviously I'm going to be, here's the felts that I'll be using. I will stick them in with carbolic soap, get some carbolic soap, grate it with a grater, a cheese grater, let it soak overnight to make a nice bit of a sloppy mess, and then wipe the back so it's completely covered, and that then adheres to the actual sticks to the actual nest pan itself. And then I use some of the mite deterrent powder in there, completely cover the felt in that, and also put a little bit of nesting material in there just to give them some idea of it actually is a nest. and then put them in, and hopefully away you go. So yeah, really do like the look of those. This is not to say that the hens will. As we know, they can be very fussy on where they want to lay their eggs, but hopefully if I introduce these slowly so they can see them when eventually it does come round to breeding season, they will be they'll be raring to go in there. Obviously I've got other options if they don't take to this. You can't just have one type of cage and then find out at the one type of nest pan and then find out that they don't particularly want to go in there. So some hens may use it, or the hens may use the internal ones. That remains to be seen. So there we go. Well, turning the clock back a number of years now, some 20 years ago when I used to go around to Cyril Oldham's stud in Nottingham, all these fantastic birds he used to breed, loads and loads of young. It was quite fun to go and see all his hens sitting on plant pots, because that's what he used to do. He had these terracotta plant pots and clay terracotta nest pans, and he used to put a bit of blue tack in the bottom, stick his nest pans in with his felts, give them nesting material, and they always used to sit on those plant pots, and it used to be just in the middle of the cage like that. And then as the young got big and looked like they could jump the nest, he used to just take them out and put the nest pan on the floor. So I mean, you don't have to have all these plastic nest pans now. I know things have moved on. Clay pans were all the rage. That's all you could get, and various other man-made ones years ago. So yeah, I don't know if there's still a place for them in today's breeding or not. I don't know. You can still buy them, but yeah, that's what they used to use. And I mean, I've actually, this is just a seed pot. I've had hens who refuse to go in any particular nest pan I've given, just want to lay on the floor in the corner. So I've actually, in the past, where the hen's been laying the eggs, I've put a bit of tape inside there, stuck some nesting material in, put the eggs in there, put it in the place where the hen was sitting all the while, and she's actually incubated, hatched and reared, I think it was 3 or 4 chicks on the floor in that particular seed pot. So I mean, at the end of the day, as long as the birds are fit, healthy and in breeding condition, the hens will want to go anywhere. They say they can be very fussy. Sometimes you just have to go with what the birds want. You can't force them to go into a nesting pan that you'll put somewhere just because that's where you want them to go. I think it's just best to have some sort of selection. So if you do have a hen which doesn't want to go into a nest pan, at least you can give her variety. So she can rear young. So yeah, don't get too worked up when the hen wants to go on the floor. I have tried moving the eggs before now, put them into a nest pan at the top once I've laid them on the floor, but they won't have it. It don't happen all the while, but say it's just the odd one. And my fear is, and I've had it happen where the young, which have been bred and brought up on the floor, if you've got any hens, that next breeding season, they want to breed down on the floor as well. So it's obviously inbred. They're used to being on the floor. So that's where they like it. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll do another video in a few weeks' time when we're heading a bit closer towards the breeding season. I think now's the time where you need to start looking at your equipment and all the food you've got ready for the breeding season. I mean, it's don't wait until breeding season starts and then find your favourite soft food or equipment you can't get hold of. You know, now's the time, or even through the winters, now's the time to get all that stuff in. Because I've fell foul of this a few times where I've waited too long, come to get some of the stuff I need, and it's no longer available, or they've not got any in. So, yeah, that's it for now. Can you hear them singing? Right, that's for now. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now. Bye.